I've got a lovely card for you today with a little bit of stamping, some vellum. Oh, I just think it's so pretty. So I'll show you what we'll be using. We have a sentiment that comes from the Sweet Wishes, a clear stamp set by Creative Expressions. I'm going to be doing a little background stamping with one of the stamps here from the Spread Your Wings journaling set. And even though this is set for journaling specifically, you can use all of these items for stamping and card making, okay? The focal element comes from our frames and tag die called Flora. And we've created a bit of a frame using a couple of these here, the Lavish accented Octagon and the double stitched Octagon, okay? Right, so I'm going to get started here. I've got a piece of Wisteria colored card. I'll give you a quick measurement. It is just a hair under 6 inches square. And I've already done a little bit of stamping using the Chalk Cloud, the Sweet Violet. So I've just stamped the stamp from the Spread Your Wings all around the edge here, and I've let it dry. And what we're going to do now is we're going to over stamp it with a black Archival ink. So you want to do your color stamping first, and then ink your stamp up and stamp it again over the top. And we're just going to put some random ones around, a little bit off the page and into the corners, just sort of in between where the flowers are that are done in the Chalk Cloud. And catch that corner. Let's put one here. Just give it a tap, re-ink it every time. I'll do this side here. Just sort of move them around, maybe one here in the corner. There we go. So I've got a lovely sort of menage of floral stamps going around the edge here. Now you do want to make sure that you heat set this really well and dry all your ink for the next step. Just give it a good dry. You don't want anything to be wet. And you want to cover it with a self-adhesive sticky sheet. Now I've got one of these I've done earlier, okay? So it is completely covered, but what I'm going to do is leave this for a few minutes and we're going to come back to it, okay? So next I'm going to cut the Flora, and I'm just going to cut it out of the center of a piece of coconut white card. Put a little bit of tape right in the middle. Now there's a lot of detail in this one. So let's see if we've got it all cut. That looks good. And what I want is actually not the die cut, but I'm going to be using the aperture from this one. You can get all the little bits out first. And carefully take the tape out of the middle of this. Oops, let's get a hold of that. Be a little easier. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to just tease out the die cut and keep the aperture in line. Just take me a second. There's all sorts of little swirly bits. And we want to keep those really nice without pulling them. And just sort of push on them. There we go, got it. Okay, so this is your die cut. It's really lovely, but we will be using that for another card later. And this is the piece that we want. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit of spray glue to the back of this, and we're going to put it onto a piece of vellum. Okay, let me get all my little bits out of the way. There we go. And a couple of these have just sort of moved a tiny bit, so we'll just pop them down in place. You can see though, that does give a really pretty look to it. This one's moved a little bit off the edge there. There we go. So you should be able to see your nice floral pattern. Now on the original card, I did add little pearls to all the centers, which I have to admit took a little time. I'm not going to do that on this one, but we'll show you again what it looks like. So on top of that, I have cut a multi-layer frame using our double-stitched Octagon. So a wider one on the base with a thinner one around the edge. And I just think that's really pretty to add a little bit of detail. So I'm going to pop that over the top, and I'll actually give you a measurement on this size. Let me do this, and then we're going to trim away the extra bit. And that one. Okay. Just center that right over our floral area there. And go in and trim away the extra bit of card around the edge. Keeping your scissors angled. And you can use that mounting foam just as like an area to cut up next to there. There we go. Okay. Pop that out of the way. And as promised, a quick measurement on the frame here, which is 5 1/3 inches on the larger one, and then the smaller one is 4 5/8 across. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go back to this piece that we did earlier that has been covered with a piece of sticky adhesive sheet. And we're going to bring the edge of this up very carefully. There we go. So you can see all my stamping underneath that. And I'm going to pop this down right in the middle of it, trying to get it nice and straight on the first try. Ooh, 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 don't do that. There we go. Not too bad. And our glitter bits around the edge. So that way we only have to use a bit on the part of the adhesive that's showing, and we won't be wasting it. And things will stick better when there's not glitter there, so your frame in the middle will actually hold really nicely. Stuck down to that. There we go. And you get a little bit of that lavender color that just shows through. Pop that under there. Okay, so now I want to place that onto our sheet here, and I'll just use a little bit of tape. And I've got a black mat, so I'll have that same sort of color, the wisteria and the black and the white all the way through it. Pop that into place, about like that. There we go. Give it a good press into place there. And I've gone ahead and done a sentiment, and I've used the stitched Octagons for the white and the purple, and the black one is from the other set, which is the Lavish accented set. And you can see how you get really nice mats and layer because they're not all the same size. So we will pop that one right into the center here and finish it off. And like I said, just some beautiful pearls into all the flowers, so you have this sort of look to it, and you are complete. And I think that's a lovely card. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and don't forget our YouTube channel is just full of videos for you.